The film opens at midnight. Everyone is asleep except Cecilia Cass. Beside her lies her husband, Adrian Griffin, a brilliant and wealthy optical engineer. From the outside, her life looks perfect, but behind closed doors, it's a nightmare. Adrian is controlling and abusive. Cecilia feels trapped and desperate for freedom. She knows he would never let her leave, so she makes a plan. Before escaping, she slips a sedative into Adrian's drink. Once he's fully asleep, she moves fast, packing a small bag and preparing to go. She disables the security cameras throughout the house, leaving only the one in her bedroom so she can monitor Adrian from her phone. Dressed and ready, she heads to the garage but sees their dog. She can't leave it behind with Adrian. As she removes the dog's collar, the car alarm suddenly blares. Panicked, Cecilia runs into the woods. Adrian wakes up. She's seconds from being caught until her sister Emily Cass pulls up to help. Cecilia jumps into the car, dropping the bottle of sedative in the forest as she runs. Adrian rushes out, trying to stop them, but Emily speeds away. For the first time, Cecilia is free. But Cecilia doesn't realize her freedom is about to turn into something far worse. 2 weeks later, she's staying at the home of Emily's friend James Lanier and his teenage daughter, Sydney Lanier. Even with Adrian supposedly gone, Cecilia is terrified he'll find her. She barely leaves the house. She constantly feels like someone is watching her. Then Emily arrives with shocking news. Adrian is dead. Cecilia is stunned. She can't process it. She locks herself in the bathroom, trying to understand how a man so obsessed with control could take his own life. Adrian controlled everything: what she wore, what she said, where she went. Suicide doesn't make sense. She tells Emily her doubts, but Emily insists it's true. Adrian is gone. She's safe, trying to move forward. Cecilia finally steps outside to check the mailbox. Inside is a letter from Adrian's brother and attorney, Tom Griffin. Adrian left her $5 million. Overwhelmed, Cecilia uses the money to thank James and Sydney for taking her in. She grows especially close to Sydney, almost like a mother. When she learns Sydney dreams of attending fashion school, Cecilia pays her tuition. For a moment, it feels like a new beginning, but the feeling of being watched only grows stronger. One afternoon, a knife suddenly falls from the kitchen counter. The stove turns on by itself and starts a fire. That night, as Cecilia lies in bed, she feels it again, that presence in the room. She looks around. No one is there. She convinces herself it's stress and forces herself to sleep. But later, she wakes to the sound of breathing close, almost right beside her. Cecilia is too terrified to move. Suddenly, the blanket is pulled off her. A camera flash goes off. She bolts upright. The room is empty, but she knows someone is there. She can feel him sitting in the chair across from the bed. The only thing she can't understand is how he's invisible. Panicking, she calls James. He searches the house, but finds nothing. Believing she's still traumatized by Adrian, James gently tells her she needs rest. Cecilia says nothing. The next day, she attends a job interview. When it's time to present her portfolio, she opens the folder. It's empty. Humiliated and confused, she collapses. Hours later, she wakes up in the hospital and is sent home. The following day, her doctor calls with disturbing news. There was a high level of a sedative in her blood, the same drug she used on Adrian. Then she finds something even worse. The exact medicine bottle she dropped in the woods is now sitting on her bedside table. That's when she realizes the truth. The person watching her is Adrian. Certain now, Cecilia meets with Tom and James. She tells them Adrian is alive. As a brilliant optical engineer, he must have created something that bends light, something that makes him invisible. He's using it to torment her. Tom listens carefully. Cecilia, I know what he was capable of. He hurt me too. He manipulated all of us, but no one comes back from the dead. He shows her official reports, even post-mortem photos. Adrian is dead. Tom gently tells her she's traumatized that Adrian's abuse is still controlling her mind. Shaken and frustrated, Cecilia goes to Emily, certain her sister will believe her. Instead, Emily is furious. She shows Cecilia a brutal email she supposedly sent filled with threats and hateful accusations. I didn't send that, Cecilia insists. She tries to explain. Someone invisible is doing this. He's setting me up. Emily doesn't believe her. Back home, Cecilia checks her sent mail. The message is there. Reading the cruel words, she breaks down. Adrian has turned her against her own sister. Sydney tries to comfort her, and suddenly, Sydney is violently shoved to the ground. There's no one there, but Cecilia knows exactly who did it. Sydney didn't didn't see who pushed her, so she assumed it was Cecilia. When James rushed in and saw his daughter hurt, he jumped to the same conclusion. Furious, he yelled at Cecilia and took Sydney away. Cecilia chased after them, desperate. "It wasn't me, it was the invisible man." But they didn't listen. Alone and devastated, Cecilia decides she's done running. If Adrian is behind this dead or alive, she's going to face him. She grabs a knife for protection and scatters powder and small objects across the floor, hoping to catch his footprints. It doesn't work. Whoever is there cleans it up. Determined to prove it's Adrian, she calls his phone. It starts ringing from inside the attic. Terrified but resolute, Cecilia climbs up. Hidden in the attic, she finds Adrian's phone along with photos of her taken inside the house. There's also a knife and detailed blueprints of the property. Proof he's been there. As she heads back downstairs, she senses someone nearby. In the kitchen, out of nowhere, an unseen force grabs her by the throat. Cecilia screams as the unseen force tightens around her throat. She's thrown onto the table, dragged across the floor, but somehow she fights back and escapes. She runs into the street and jumps into a taxi. There's only one place to go, Adrian's house. Inside his private lab, she searches for answers and finds them. A high-tech suit designed to bend light around the body. A suit that makes the wearer invisible. Suddenly, she hears someone enter the house. She quickly hides the suit and locks herself inside a closet. He finds her. She barely escapes again. Desperate, she asks Emily to meet her. Emily hesitates, but hearing the panic in Cecilia's voice, she agrees. Before Cecilia can explain about the suit, a knife slices across Emily's throat. The blade drops into Cecilia's hand. The invisible man has framed her. Witnesses see Cecilia holding the knife. The police arrive. She's arrested. Through tears, she pleads, "I didn't do this. The invisible man did." No one believes her. Declared mentally unstable, Cecilia is sent to a psychiatric facility. She keeps repeating the truth Adrian is alive. The staff sedate her as she drifts towards unconsciousness. An unseen presence leans close and whispers surprise. James, the man who gave her shelter, is also a police officer. He and his partner later question Cecilia, trying to understand what really happened. When Cecilia wakes up, she tells James she has proof. Adrian is alive. He's the invisible man. But she refuses to say what the proof is because she knows he's listening. Then the doctors reveal something else. Her medical tests show she's pregnant. Cecilia is shattered. Soon after, Tom arrives. He informs her she won't receive Adrian's inheritance, but there's a condition. If she keeps the baby and agrees to return to Adrian, the charges against her will disappear. That's when it clicks. Tom is working with him. He slides paperwork across the table. A deal. Cecilia refuses. Quietly, she steals a pen. That night, alone in her room, she prepares to harm herself. Suddenly, an unseen force stops her. It's him. Cecilia stabs wildly with the pen, striking something solid. The invisible man stumbles back. The suit flickers and sparks. She did it on purpose. The noise brings armed officers rushing in. Adrian attacks them, moving with brutal speed. One officer falls, then two more. More backup arrives, but no one can stop him. Cecilia grabs a gun and runs after him. Because the damaged suit glitches, she can now see brief outlines of his body. She fires, but Adrian escapes. Cecilia follows him to the hospital garage, determined to end it. Out of nowhere, he appears behind her, grabs her, and whispers a threat. James and Sydney will die just like Emily. She spins to shoot, but he escapes in a car. Cecilia steals another vehicle and races after him, calling James to warn him that Sydney is in danger. The invisible man reaches James's house first. Sydney senses something is wrong. Remembering her father's advice, she sprays pepper spray into the air. It hits him. Seconds later, James arrives, but Adrian attacks, beating him brutally. Cecilia bursts in, grabs a fire extinguisher, and sprays it across the room. The white cloud clings to the suit. A human shape appears. She doesn't hesitate. Cecilia fires. The body drops. They remove the mask. It's Tom. Because Cecilia had accused Adrian, police rush to Adrian's mansion. In the basement, they find him tied up, gagged, claiming his brother kidnapped him and forced him into hiding. He says he's a victim. Cecilia doesn't believe a word. Adrian controlled everything. There's no way this happened without him. She knows the truth. Adrian and Tom worked together. And now she has one goal: expose Adrian. That night, Cecilia calls Adrian and asks to meet. When they sit down together, he appears calm, gentle, even remorseful. "I know I hurt you," he says. "I've changed. enraged. "Come back to me. We can have a real life. A good life," Cecilia agrees. But on one condition. He admits he was the invisible man. Adrian denies it. He blames everything on Tom, claiming his brother controlled the entire situation. What he doesn't know is that James is listening through a wire Cecilia is wearing. Cecilia begins to cry. Adrian leans closer to comfort her, and softly he whispers, "Surprise, it's a confession." Cecilia excuses herself and walks to the bathroom, breaking down in tears. Moments later, outside the bathroom, Adrian suddenly slits his own throat. Cecilia rushes out, screaming in horror, and calls the police. James arrives and finds Adrian dead. Security footage shows Adrian alone, apparently taking his own life, open and shut. But as Cecilia stands over his body, she quietly whispers, "Surprise, the truth. She had been wearing the invisible suit. While in the bathroom, she put it on, came out unseen, and killed him, staging it as suicide. She removes the suit, hides it in a bag, and leaves before anyone suspects a thing." Outside, James notices the bag. He understands, but he says nothing. He knows she didn't kill an innocent man. She ended a monster. For the first time, Cecilia is truly free, and the movie ends.